The Tuo Chiang-class represents two significant transformations, one in the region and the other in the classification of surface combatants. It is the response of the Republic of China Navy, or ROCN for short, to China's rapidly growing naval dominance. As a weapon detective, we're now investigating the Tuo Chiang-class, the warrior catamaran. The Tuo Chiang-class corvette is a handsome surface combatant with impressive combat capabilities for its size. While referring it as corvette might have been appropriate until the turn of the millennium, it is clear that new definitions are necessary today. Its unique design philosophy makes the Tuo Chiang-class an excellent example for exploring the evolving nature of navies and regional dynamics. In parallel with China's economic growth, the People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, began expanding its capabilities and size in the 1990s. However, the late 2000s marked a turning point with its transformation from a regional force focused on coastal defense to a blue water navy. This shift in the balance of power has naturally necessitated the ROCN's modernization and reorganization. In 2009, the Navy launched the Shunhai project, a plan to build 7 to 11 500-ton stealth ships to counter emerging threats and replace the Xinjiang-class missile boats. On April 12, 2010, Taipei announced the program, which received the budget approval the following year. Initially, the ROCN planned the first vessel as a prototype. Then there were two versions, one focused on surface strike and the other on air defense, which would follow. All ships would have sonar and torpedo tubes for anti-submarine warfare, or ASW. On April 24, 2012, Taiwan awarded the local private company Longde Shipbuilding a contract for the construction of the prototype vessel ROCS Tuo Chiang. She was laid down on November 2, 2012, launched on March 14, 2014, and commissioned on December 23, 2014. After trials, the ROCN concluded that the corvette was unsuitable for ASW missions and removed her sonar and torpedo tubes in 2018. Consequently, it also abandoned the plan to equip the subsequent ships with such equipment. Furthermore, the Navy decided to acquire only one version of the Tuo Chiang-class, which would carry out both air defense and surface strike missions. In the same year, Taipei approved the construction of 11 additional corvettes in 2 batches. The first of the 6-vessel initial batch, ROCS Hsiung, was laid down on May 24, 2019, launched on December 15, 2020, and commissioned on July 27, 2021. The final, ROCS Wenjiang, joined the fleet in 2024. The first of the 5 vessels in the second batch, ROCS Danjian, was launched on July 2, 2025, and is expected to be commissioned in 2026 along with all remaining corvettes. Furthermore, in 2019, Taiwan gave the green light for the construction of 12 Anping-class offshore patrol vessels based on the Tuo Chiang-class for the Taiwanese Coast Guard. Armed with a 20mm gun and a rocket launcher as standard, these ships can be equipped with anti-ship missiles and a Phalanx close-in weapon system on short notice and deployed for combat missions. The Tuo Chiang-class is built of degaussed aluminum alloys, which dramatically lowers the risk of triggering magnetic sea mines. The precisely welded over 40 flat hull surface parts of the stealth Tuo Chiang-class are constructed from blocks cut by a laser machine similar to those used in building the US Independence-class littoral combat ship. It features a wave-piercing catamaran design that provides stability by resisting rolling and overturning, eliminating the need for ballast. Another reason Taiwan chose this configuration is that it has a smaller hull volume, less displacement, and a shallower draught than monohulls of comparable length. These two features make the Tuo Chiang-class ideal for operations in the rough open seas around Taiwan as well as in littoral waters. Because it has lower hydrodynamic resistance, a catamaran needs less propulsive power. This hull form generates less wave, offering an advantage against wake-homing torpedoes. The prototype vessel, ROCS Tuo Chiang, features 2 diesel engines and 2 water jet propulsors, which are identical to those used on the mass-produced ships. Equipped with a joystick-controlled jet propulsion system, the vessel can rotate 360 degrees on the spot unaffected by wind. This system also removes the need for tugboats in ports and improves littoral warfare capabilities. The Tuo Chiang-class can operate effectively in Sea State 5 and remains navigable in Sea State 7 with waves reaching heights of 6.1 to 9.1 meters. ROC's Tuo Chiang's funnels are placed above the outer waterline to minimize the infrared signature of the smoke. The following 11 corvettes have their funnels located within the hull and are equipped with water spraying devices. With its operational capability in a CBRN environment, the Tuo Chiang-class features TMAS chaff dispensers. It has a flight deck at the stern but lacks a hangar. This pad is mainly for vertical replenishment, not for deploying an air unit, and underneath it, a hybrid high-speed craft is stored. The X-band CS-MPQ-90 CBI passive electronically scanned array radar of the Tuo Chiang-class has an effective detection range of 60 kilometers. It can track 64 targets simultaneously and command more than 90 air defense missiles. The prototype vessel, ROCS Tuo Chiang, measures 60.4 meters in length, 14 meters in beam, 2.3 meters in draught, and has a displacement of 502 tons. Its top speed is 44 knots and its range is 2,000 nautical miles. The complement of the Tuo Chiang-class is 54 people. The ship has a length of 65 meters, a beam of 14.8 meters, and a draught of 2.1 meters. Its displacement is 685 tons. Powered by four 5,800 horsepower MTU-20V 4000 M93L diesel engines, the corvette has a top speed of 45.1 knots. The vessel has a range of 1,800 nautical miles, equivalent to 3,335 kilometers. ROCS Tuo Chiang is armed with 8 Hsiung Feng II and 8 Hsiung Feng III missiles. Each of the Batch 1 corvettes is equipped with 4 Hsiung Feng IIIs instead of 8. Conversely, the number of Hsiung Feng IIs is reduced to 4 in Batch 2 ships. Unlike ROCS Tuo Chiang, both batches are fitted with Tianqie-2N air defense missiles. With a 225 kg self-forging fragment warhead, the Hsiung Feng III has a range of over 100 kilometers and a speed of Mach 3.5. Depending on its variant, the Hsiung Feng II can reach a distance of either 160 or 250 kilometers. It carries a 180 kg warhead and has a dual-active radar and infrared seeker guidance. Its maximum speed is Mach 0.84. The ship-launched N variant of the air-to-air Tianqie-2 has a range of 30 kilometers and a speed of Mach 6. It can engage anti-ship missiles and aircraft. The 76mm Mark 75 bow gun features a stealthy turret. Its maximum range is 16 kilometers with a rate of fire of 85 rounds per minute. The Mark 15 Phalanx close-in weapon system has an effective range of 1.5 kilometers and a rate of fire of 4,500 rounds per minute. The Tuo Chiang-class is also armed with two 12.7mm M2 and two 7.62mm T-74 machine guns. The ROCN is considering equipping the ship with the locally developed CORX air defense system. In 1971, the Republic of China, also known as Taiwan, lost its status as the international representative of China to the People's Republic of China, commonly referred to as just China. Subsequently, Washington improved its relations with Beijing. Entering this new era, the USA internationally created a gray zone regarding whether it would provide military aid to Taiwan in the event of a war with China. Through this policy, the leader of the West managed to appease Beijing without abandoning Taipei. But the Taiwanese did not like this change. They began to develop a national defense industry and revise their defense plans to feel safer. Previously, the ROCN had been considered as a force to land in mainland China to overthrow the communist regime one day. However, by the late 1960s, it began reorganizing to defend the island instead, marking a significant strategic pivot. Amid this realignment, Israel, as the traditional backdoor supporter of countries that Washington could not support directly, stepped forward. As a result, Taiwan began building Dwara-class missile boats known as the Heiho class. These vessels were equipped with the Hsiung Feng I anti-ship missiles, locally developed based on the Israeli Gabriel Mark I. Nevertheless, this transformation did not fully embrace the je ne quoi doctrine, which relies on deploying small, fast surface combatants against larger enemy ships. At that time, owing to a big fleet and technological edge, the ROCN remained capable of engaging the PLAN in open sea combat. By the 2000s, however, Taiwan had lost this capability. At this point, the country faces two distinct disadvantages when operating a navy based on missile boats. Firstly, the common weakness of traditional small warships, such as patrol craft and corvettes, is that they are not well suited for prolonged periods in rough seas around the island. Furthermore, because the Je ne sais quoi doctrine depends on quick hit-and-run attacks, Taiwan's relatively short coastline makes it difficult for the fleet to hide from Chinese strikes. As a result, Taiwanese boats cannot run to safety after hitting the enemy. Addressing these issues, the stealth Tuo Chiang-class corvettes are hard to detect, and thanks to their catamaran design, they can retreat to small or medium-sized fishing harbors to resupply ammunition and fuel while larger naval bases are under attack. Moreover, these vessels do not require anchoring for rearming and refueling. They possess vertical replenishment capability while navigating through open seas. The Tuo Chiang-class is classified as a corvette. Similarly, the Soviet Nanuchka and Tarantul classes, which are comparable in size to the Taiwanese vessel, are also regarded as corvettes. Additionally, Sweden classifies its Gävle and Stockholm class ships as corvettes. Generally, size, ASW capability, or aviation facilities determine whether a small combatant is classified as a corvette. Our central argument is that evolving combat environments require a re-evaluation of these traditional definitions. Due to evolving combat requirements, a modern missile boat must also transform. The first missile boats were armed with only 25mm and 23mm cannons, primarily against aerial targets. Then, 76mm guns were mounted on them for naval engagements. The Israeli Navy equipped some missile boats with ASW gear and weapons first, and later with air defense missiles. The Alea subclass of the SAR 4.5 class has a helipad and a hangar. The Finnish Hamina class has Imkonde air defense missiles. Based on these developments, we believe that moving forward, a modern missile boat should include aviation facilities for operating unmanned aerial vehicles. In our view, a modern missile boat should therefore more closely resemble to Tuo Chiang-class. Current destroyers are the cruisers of the past, and a similar argument can be made between frigates and destroyers as well as between corvettes and frigates. Thus, following this line of reasoning, why can't we say that Tuo Chiang-class is a corvette of the past but a missile boat of the future? Clearly, it shares a few similarities with many other modern corvettes. Considering its size, the firepower and air defense capabilities of the Tuo Chiang-class are quite impressive. However, nothing comes without a cost. A small ship carrying such a heavy load cannot naturally have a shallow draught like a conventional catamaran. A fully loaded Tuo Chiang-class corvette still cannot anchor at many small fishing ports around Taiwan. Moreover, its high costs sparked intense debates in the Taiwanese parliament. The latter vessel is 106% more expensive than ROC's Tuo Chiang. In response, the ROCN has defended the program by stating that the mass-produced corvettes have 4 diesels instead of 2 on the first vessel. The Navy has also emphasized that the weapons and equipment of ROC's Tuo Chiang were all sourced from previous ships, while others have been equipped with newly built ones, which naturally increase the costs. Furthermore, since 2014, a 49% inflation has affected the prices of raw materials. The Tuo Chiang-class represents the best that Taiwan can do to address the threat of the rising PLAN. Designed according to the real operational requirements, this ship also demonstrates how future missile boats should be. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all of your likes, comments and shares.